Hello, this is the first chapter I'm going to be reading of the
You can't see all the way.
Angels Watching Over Us by Reverend Rachel Moore. This is chapter 1. It begins on page 13. I'm sorry, 11. Apologize for that. It's called Unwilling Participant. The verses that go with this story are, "For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone." Psalm 91:11 and 12. I had an experience one night, dear readers, that will forever be burned in my memory. Except the date, of course. I'm terrible at remembering most dates. I can remember them sometimes, but that is rare. The details are more important anyway. Well, I remember this evening, Melinda, my niece who lives with me, and I had gone to the laundromat in the next town to wash laundry. Unfortunately, it was dark when we were finished. I do not like to drive after dark because I am very afraid of breaking down and being out there with just me and Melinda, and because lights coming at me bother me. Sometimes they blind me. Well, I didn't have a choice on this night. I had to get home. So I headed to the edge of the parking lot, planning to turn left to make a quick stop at the Dollar General before going home. We put on our seat belts while we waited at the edge of the parking lot for a clear time to enter traffic. When it was clear, I pulled out. When I looked to the right, I saw a car that was quite a distance away, so I knew I had plenty of time to pull out and get to the far lane safely. I was going along smoothly. We had gone several hundred feet, I'm guessing, when I glanced over and noticed that I was beside the local King Cash Saver grocery store building. Just as I reached the parking lot in front of it, I saw a young man walking toward the road through the parking lot, dressed totally in black and carrying a black backpack. I didn't give him much thought, if any at all, until he suddenly rushed out into the road in front of me, stopped, and then sat down in the road in front of my car. It makes my stomach cringe when I think about it now. Melinda screamed and covered her eyes. My arm instinctively went across her chest as I slammed on my brakes. I felt like I was never going to possibly get stopped in time to avoid this boy's body in the road. It was really only a matter of seconds. All of a sudden, I remembered the car I had seen coming from a good distance behind me. I glanced up at the rearview mirror. He was right there. He had been able to stop with probably 1 to 1.5 inches from the back of my car. I had been screaming, "Jesus!" the whole time. That's all I could manage to do in this paralyzing moment. So there we were, stopped in the middle of the road, frozen for a moment in time. I felt like I could barely breathe. Melinda and I just stared forward. Finally, she whispered, "Did you hit him?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't feel it if I did." All of a sudden, in a breathtaking moment, this kid who had just laid his body down in front of my car stood back up, looked at me with a look on his face that I will never forget until I am 900 years old, if I live that long. He had a look of deep sadness and sheer desperation in his eyes. It is a look that I never want to see in anyone else's eyes. He turned around and walked back toward the parking lot. It was all over as quickly as it had begun. We drove off, even though I felt like my foot was frozen to the brake pedal. There are no words to describe the thoughts and feelings that rushed through our hearts and minds in that instant. We decided not to go to Dollar General. Whatever we needed could obviously wait. As we drove home, the Lord spoke to me clearly. It was very clear and precise. It was a very clear and precise voice in my head, or maybe my heart. There was no doubt in my mind what was being said and who was saying it. The Lord spoke these words to me. He said, "My child, I have given my angels charge over you to keep you in safety." I knew he had put an angel between my car and that young man, and I thoroughly believed that he had put an angel in between my car's rear and the other car's front end. We never got out of our cars, but I could see how close he got to my rearview mirror. When the Bible says that angels have charge over you, it is something you can take to the bank, as my precious mama, God rest her sweet soul, would say. I grew up hearing that saying. The look in that young man's eyes as we locked eyes for just a short moment through the windshield spoke volumes to me, though not one verbal word was exchanged between us. This young man was desperate to be loved by someone. The Lord revealed to me that he was trying to commit suicide using my car to do it. He changed his mind at the last moment when he got up off the road. I woke up this morning with that memory flooding in my mind. The Lord was ministering to me. What an undeserved blessing. God's mercy to us and his desire to spend time with us one-on-one is a precious gift I will treasure forever. I don't know what happened to that young man. I hope and pray he has since found Jesus. I hope he didn't use someone else's car later to carry out his self-destructive plan. Satan wanted to destroy more than one life that night. I would probably never get over the trauma of hitting someone with my car, and I certainly would not have wanted Melinda to witness something like that. My life was forever touched that night. I think about the angel I believe stood between those two cars and stopped him from slamming into me. It had to be a skinny one, LOL. There was not much room between them. When I woke up this morning, flooding my thoughts with memories, he began to tell me which stories to write for this book. I have been dealing with a major case of writer's block for 3 years since the completion of my third book. This has left me brokenhearted because I absolutely love to write. I am so glad God lifted that burden off of me. It was his timing, though, not mine. Now, with his help and guidance and my hand, we will give birth to this beautiful message in the form of this book. God bless you all, my dear readers. I hope that you will stay on this journey with me till the end.